I've said this, I'll repeat it again, and I guess I'll repeat it over and over and over again. Modern men are very confused, and their minds are hacked into by images and ideas of manhood, of womanhood, of what's beautiful, of what's attractive, of what they want, what they should want, how they should be, how they should behave. That's all very confusing. And at some point, a lot of men won't do fuck all and they'll just stay passive. Some men have it in themselves to play those things out. Some men succeed to a certain degree. Some men succeed tremendously at playing out those things that are in their head. But no matter what your level of success, at some point, you come to realize that all of these so-called relations, because we're talking about the angle of women, are not bringing any real, genuine satisfaction. It's like I'm not able to get... There's something that brings a man and a woman together. The force of attraction is... It's atomic. It's so powerful. And yet when you come together, something's not happening or something doesn't click. You don't understand. Something I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. The return is so little. It's like bringing two things together and and you're expecting a cake and it's giving you like nothing, right? Or whatever it's giving is painful or awkward or unpleasant or shallow or not at all what somewhere at the very depth of your intuition or instinctively you know it's supposed to generate something. And when you because through the process you go through a lot of heartache. Man goes through a lot of heartache and woman goes through a lot of heartache. It's painful. Both are trying so hard to make it work. It doesn't. It works for a little bit, doesn't, then crashes. It works, then one gets tired, the other one does. Like it's full of heartaches, and then you have to navigate through the world and other men and other women. It's a fucking mess. So at some point, if you're a little more thoughtful as an individual, and you don't just renounce and quit, or don't just try to like conquer the game with your dominant masculine frame, but you take a step back and you just actually consider what's going on, you realize that, well, we've spoken about it, something's going on in the world, something's wrong with the woman is confused, men are confused, and you're confused. So how are you supposed to navigate, let's say, the game of men and women if you're mentally confused? And let's pretend that there is and exists a woman out there for you, or many women for you that are not fucked up. Let's pretend. How are you going to magnetize them or get to them when yourself you're confused? You wouldn't even see her as beautiful because your mind has been conditioned to see that specific form as beautiful. Or you've been conditioned to believe that you should have this kind of lifestyle when in reality your natural lifestyle would be here. And the fact that I have to do here and here is already a problem, but we understand each other. Right? So once that starts to dawn on you, you're already now going on towards knowledge and intelligence. And the next step is I need to clean my mind. I need to remove the junk out of my head, because there's a junk in my head that is leading me towards confusion. It's the junk in my head leading me in false directions. It's the junk in my head that is making me chase things that don't satisfy me. It's the junk in my head. So I need to remove that junk from my head in order to at least discover who I am and what I really want and what I'm actually attracted to, what is actually made for me. It may happen that what's for you is what they told you. I don't know. I'm not here to say, but I'm saying you don't know. And that's the core issue. So how do you navigate in the dating game, or how do you navigate in the field of women or in the sexual marketplace when your compass is fucked up and it's technically pointing towards the same direction, and every other idiot also points towards the same direction, and all the stupid women are all trying to pretend that they're the direction it's pointing to. Right? So we got a problem. So once you figure that out, with all due respect, I call this intelligence. Now, don't get fooled. Now, the top players, because there are people who are master players, are going to say you're a coward, you're a wimp, because you can't compete with me. They want to lure you in because they derive pleasure at taking what you want because you can't have it, which makes them feel more of a man because they crushed you in a game that is technically not for you. But you didn't understand that, you got fooled into it, and you become resources for these people. So this is complex, man. This is a treacherous game. And the way the world is going, because of such scarcity, people are hunting everything and everyone. Everybody's trying to steal and suck. And that's why a lot of people are hurt from the game of sex. That's the game of sexuality, the game of the dance between the man and woman. A lot of people want to stay on the sideline, and they're hurt because they're on the sideline, because you're a man and a woman. You naturally, it's made to, like magnets, they're made to dance in one way or another. You don't know how, but it's made to do that. So you're on the sidelines because you just want to avoid heartache, and then you create your philosophy of life based on you being on the sideline, because technically, I don't want to say you're a coward, maybe you're sane, you don't want to put yourself through such trauma, but the game is not supposed to be traumatic. It's become traumatic, but you should know how to navigate through it, but you don't know how. So the number one issue is that your mind is confused. And your mind is confused due to generational conditioning. This is not new, but the level of conditioning from this generation is just, it's like, is there a word to describe its level? It's galactic. How about that? It's cosmic conditioning. It's like fucked up. It's the whole other level. That's conditioning on top of conditioning from past generation, Judeo-Christian tradition, etc., right? All these conditionings. So everybody's coming at the game with a lot of confusion. And on top of that, the world has changed a lot, and the circumstances in the world have changed a lot. And we are exposed to so many different kinds of energies and circumstances which have changed who we are, changed our biology, changed our needs and our desires. This is also, like, we cannot deny that. We're not living in a jungle. We live in the cities in condos or apartments or homes in the suburbs. We don't have the same constitution as once upon a time, which means we're not behaving as men or women the same way as once upon a time. So, and we're talking about from generation to generation. So we've become also modified creatures, which is not a problem, but you need to discover where you actually stand and who you are. And that's me, that's my song, that's what I'm doing, that's what I am. Therefore, now I can potentially find corresponding nodules or corresponding resonant players. But it starts from a place of self-respect. This is who I am. But how can you do that if your mind is confused? And it is. And you're in pain because of that also. You're in pain because it's hurting you because it's not you. You're in pain because you're not able to do that. Some people can. A very few people can be what TV tells you to be. But most can. So you're in pain because you're disrespecting yourself. You're in pain because you can't be these images. And you're in pain because all the people around you are chasing the same thing or different variations of it. And if you don't play the game, you're technically almost invisible. Which is also painful because, well, I'm not invisible. But in this madness, you're kind of invisible. Right? So as a human being, you're now kind of like non-existent. So now you have to compensate and develop other things to certain kind of extremes to kind of start appearing at least somewhat on the radar, to exist. It's fucked up. And then you start to identify to that and you believe that, and then it takes you on a certain kind of journey, and you may wake up 10 years after saying, fuck, this is a dead end, and look at all I did to myself. And it's nothing to do with who I am or what I actually genuinely want, but this is the compensation, and I just wrote it to the terminus. So in order to navigate safely in this sexual marketplace, and that's life in general also, you have to first remove your confusion. That bullshit has to go, and it's quite a work to do to remove that shit. And that shit is also protecting you from a deep level of wounds and insecurities that you carry inside. That's why I say, you go on my website, you read. We teach here men a bunch of things, and then we stress healing. No, it's not because we want to be like in a healing journey and do it. No, it's because you're fucked up, dude. That's why we talk about healing. And if you want a future, whatever future you want, you need a good foundation. If your foundation is rotten, Who cares if you build the highest high-rise in the world on a fucking weak foundation? Who cares? This is shit. It's not going to survive, dude. So that's what technically the word healing is. It's like, we want to fix the foundation so that we can build an edifice, the edifice of yourself, the edifice of your life, on like something solid, concrete, that's plugged in, anchored, rooted in life, dharma, and then that can outgrow into whatever you call the system or society, but it's plugged into something real. So all this to say, that's the first step. And to remove that filth, well, you need training to do that. It's not just, I watch a video that shed. No, come on. Everybody wants just quick shit. No, it's a process. It's a complex process. You may need some guidance. If you need some guidance, find some to learn how to unfuck yourself. This is just a start. But already, if you start to be unfucked, then you start to perceive yourself and who you are and what you actually want and not want. But I don't really want that. So why am I chasing it? I'm chasing it because that's what I was told that is manhood. And those who are chasing this are telling me I'm not a man. So now I feel that I need to go chase that to prove I'm a man. Or if you don't have that, you're not a man. All men want that. I'm like, yeah, like I can respect that. It's a cool thing, but I don't fucking care. Well, you're not a man. And then you're trying to impress girls who think that this is man. So now you got a problem. So you're confused. That's what I'm trying to say. Is to clear that and to clean the mind. And clean the mind means also by default clean your body, because your toxic mind has its associated toxins in the body, restrictions in the body that block the nervous system, hormonal system, muscular system, all kinds of lymphatic system, cardiac system. Everything it's one and the same. So when we unfuck your mind, we're unfucking your body, unwinding tension. So your organs start to kick in, come online, your nervous system comes online, everything starts to come online, so you become a better antenna. And then you start to tune into, well, dare I say, greater forces in which in your relation to, and then you start to like, okay, now I start to understand, I start to see. And I can see my path because it's highlighted in yellow, but you can't see it because you're a moron. I think I answered your question.